Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Devil's Advocate Trades Edition with your host, Lisa, me. And I have a wonderful guest today. Her name is Nicole. And Nicole and I met actually at the Calgary Construction Association Christmas party like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Already. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. And it's so fun. So fun fact, Nicole was wearing like the cutest dress. And it's what caught my attention. And I was like, oh my God, I love your dress.
The sparkly dress girl.
Right? But you were so beautiful in that dress. And I love that you were wearing something so fun and festive that I was like, oh, I need to know her.
That's what I thought the event was for, but I felt overdressed then, but I'm glad that someone appreciated it and it was fun to wear. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, we don't always get these opportunities to wear some of those pieces so that when we take it, just take it and then, rock it. Like, who gives a shit?
Absolutely.
I walk into a space often where I'm kind of underdressed and I'm like, oh, had I known. But then there's a lot of times where I don't really care. I'm just like, I'm in construction. I don't care. You're not here to I'm not here as a showpiece for you. I'm here as someone, you want my brain, not anything else. So
definitely.
We're not. And then I always create the joke of, I don't want to be the safety hazard.
Yes. That's great.
Right?
I love it.
I've made that joke so many times. People are like, oh, thanks for dressing up, Lisa. I'm like, yeah, I didn't want to be the safety hazard today, Need to keep you guys all on track.
100%.
So much fun. So thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
We get to, absolutely. We get to talk about different things because as Devil's Advocate has kind of transformed a little bit. So when I originally started it, I started it as all trades to give them a platform to talk about pitfalls and successes. Now, not that I've taken that away, but it's kind of amalgamated into like a lifestyle aspect where we talk about relationships and we talk about politics and and they're all most of them are tradespeople. And then I bring on people that are resources for mental health, for understanding your mind and doing personality quizzes and, all these different things, right? Like different products for, like, there was one gentleman I brought on. I just love him. He's so sweet. He's in the States. His name is Dr. Thomas Hillary. I think that's right. Yes. And, or Mallory Hill. Sorry. He's going to kill me. He's going to be like, Lisa, you forgot my name. And he does Redox, which is a molecular restructuring compound of sorts. It's a drink. So it's called Redox. It's a drink that you drink. And so if you're someone who's like on the tools all day, or you're always in pain, or you have an autoimmune, amazing. It just like replenishes the different aspects in your body for like the hydrogen aspects in your body that have depleted over time. And with all of the work that we're doing. So like just little things like that. So it's kind of like, it's transformed. But it was funny. I had one guy on and he's like the owner of HVAC modular system. Well, like I don't know how you say it. It's like he created I asked him if it was like a modulator or whatever. He's like, you could kind of say that, but it's not really. It's basically, it's a system that helps provide return air into the different parts of the building to help save money where that air doesn't normally circulate properly. So it helps the efficiency inside the building for how the air moves. And it's amazing. Oh, cool. And like HVAC guys love him. And he's known so well all over Alberta. But him and I talked about like politics. I was like, oh, it's going to be a fun conversation because we're different ends of the spectrum, but we're both very centered thinking. So that's where it doesn't get ugly, is if you get on the phone and you start talking, or get on anything and you start talking politics, if somebody is extreme is when it goes sideways.
100%.
And it blows up if both are extreme, because now it's just, they want to talk over each other and the other person is stupid and then it gets name calling. But when you're both really centered, it's actually just perspective at that point. It's like, you can't even really get mad. Because when I was talking to him about it, and he was like, oh, it's like, well, he's like, you kind of sound like a conservative. And I was like, nah, I'm not. And I'm like, I'm just centered thinking.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't think that we should go all the way left. I don't think we should go all the way right. We got to be right in the middle, so that kind of it's inclusive. When you're centered thinking, you're inclusive and you don't shut anybody out. Everybody has a voice within reason.
Isn't that the whole point? Isn't that what we all want anyways?
That's kind of what I thought.
But we argue about wanting?
That's what I thought. But the more I turn on the news and listen to the politics that go on, I want to shoot myself in the face.
I don't even watch it. I can't.
Don't.
It makes me mental. The elections and all that leading up to it, I couldn't.
Yeah.
I was getting my nails done, and that's the only time I watch the news because I'm there at news hour.
Mhm.
And I was like, can we change the channel? I just can't listen to this. Like it's ridiculous. It's just too much.
It's
and
high stress.
It is, yeah.
And people were fighting with each other. Like, you know, I even got a little bit caught up with the politics and the election. And I was like, but here's the thing, and hear me out on this when it came down to politics, is that I was really pinchy to my significant other. And I said to him, if you vote conservative, I can't be with you. Like, and just deadpanned. And he just looks at me and he's like, well, I didn't vote conservative and I didn't vote liberal. And he's like, and regardless of what I voted, he's like, why would you say that to me? And I'm like, here's the thing. It was a shit thing to say because at the end of the day, a lot of people voted for conservative candidates that got in that are actually very centered thinking. And there's a better chance of getting those candidates through the door and going to Ottawa to calm down their leader if their leader was to have won, right? And even the new leader, like, I mean, he's pretty centered, but there's still people on both sides that are centered thinking. There's some that are completely lost their fucking minds, but then there's some that are, you know, they're more like, yeah, this makes sense or this doesn't make sense.
Right.
And that there are voices. We want them to be there. We want a mix of people to be there. So that is where I was in the wrong to make that comment. And I realized that shortly after the fact. And
that's probably the most important thing.
Right.
And admitting that was not right. Yeah.
Yeah. But where my brain had gone to because of watching everything that was going on, listening to the lectures, but all the different candidates, the leaders, is where I freaked. Because I was like, I'm like, what this leader stands for is against women like me in these spaces. I'm like, it is pushing us too far back. I have a daughter. I am grateful for the trailblazers ahead of me to allow me and afford me the opportunities that I have because of the shit they went through. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm going through shit so that my daughter doesn't have to go through it as much. I'm like, if she decides to choose a top heavy male industry, because we're both in male industries. And I'm like, I can't justify that you could stand behind somebody that is so like right wing. I'm like, everything I stand for and everything I do and who my identity is and what I've worked for as a female, this person wants to kind of eradicate that in what they're saying. They're saying it without saying it. Right. And I'm like, so, I mean, they've already shown what the left hand is capable of, even though they're speaking from their right. So I'm like, I'm not interested. But I didn't give him the opportunity to say, the candidate in my area was really big on this. I didn't give him the opportunity. It was just, I just shut it down and was like, deadpan, like, I can't be with you if you voted conservative. Poor guy. And he's just like,
stubborn.
But you know what though? I mean, that's when I was like, Lisa, you're not this person. Like you're letting somebody fearmonger an aspect of your life. This like, but in the hindsight, like what I explained to him was, if you don't see eye to eye on politics. So if we see eye to eye on politics and your candidate and my candidate are two separate parties, but they're both very similar in their ways of thinking and we're in different ridings, then whatever, it is what it is. But if you're voting for someone who is completely against and opposed to, you know, like all these different items, like healthcare, like what they want to do, privatizing healthcare and taking away things from kids. And like just some of the stuff they've done in Alberta, that was Alberta's call, not federal, but just Alberta's call has just blown my mind. So I'm just like, when you start looking at the things they're taking away from the province, you know, what people were misinformed on is that's a lot of it's not federal. It's not a federal jurisdiction. It's a provincial jurisdiction. And I'm like, oh, we already have an idiot in the seat. I need to get rid of her so we can start doing things. And it was funny because people are like, oh, Lisa, you're so progressive with women and you're so big on powerhouse women. Why are you so against, you know, Danielle Smith? And I was like, I'm not against her. I'm not for what she discusses. I'm not for what she's become. There are people in this world. There are people who are power hungry and will do anything at any cost to be where they want to be, not realizing what they've sold in order to get it. And I'm like, and when you are a woman that dominates in a male space, because of everything, not necessarily because you believe it, but because you're being paid to do it, because you got a lot of votes for it, because you've got power per se, you're the fall guy. As a woman, you're the fall guy. They have an agenda that if shit goes sideways, you're going to hold the bag.
Yeah.
And that's what I said, like in my podcast the last time, like my last one that I dropped here, I was like, you're crazy if you think, well, now the podcast would have been a little while ago, but I was like, you crazy if you think that these guys are going to not set you up to fall for them. They're not going to take any accountability for this. It's going to all go on your head. Like, you got to understand that in male dominating spaces, this is what happens. We've watched it happen in politics before, and they are ruthless and they don't care. So at this point, I'm kind of like, whatever happens to you is kind of on you. So, but stop fucking with our shit.
Just calm down. Take a step back here. My goodness.
Go take another vacation in the States and just fuck off for a while.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, it's wild.
We're good. We got it. We got it handled. Leave our children alone. Leave our money alone. We're good. Yeah. So it is what it is. But so now you work in the moving industry.
Yeah.
Moving. Make sure. So people are like,
moving. Not movie. I always get, they're like, movies. Like what? And I'm like, no, moving.
Mm-hmm.
Picking up furniture, putting it down. Yeah.
That's right. When you want to sell your house and someone's got to come pack it up and clear it out and move it to the next location, this is who we're calling. And I know, because I've called you. I've utilized your services. And your guys were great, by the way. Guys were great.
They're awesome. We have a lot of really great crew. Yeah. So
tell me something. Clear up a rumor for me, because I don't know how to feel about it. So do you travel a lot with your work?
Me? Yeah. Personally? Not as much, since we adopted virtual appointments, which have been a blessing. I feel like I was in Lethbridge once a week, and now I don't remember the last time I've been to Lethbridge.
Okay.
Love Lethbridge, but no thank you for traveling anyways.
Right.
So today I was out and about. It's a good mixture. I want to say 50% of the clients still like that in-person, face-to-face interaction. And then others are embracing the technology that we have, which is funny. It's the same technology that I use in person versus virtually. It's just I'm there in person using it versus, you touring me around on your phone to get a quote. So yeah, I want to say it's 50-50 now, but there are definitely people who like that in-person touch and shaking hands and that kind of thing.
Yeah. No, I think that's great. And I agree. I'm the kind of person that likes to see people, but if it's too far, I'm like, oh, let's just jump online.
100%.
Yeah. They're like, Lisa, want to come to Edmonton?
No.
No, sure. I don't. Are you going to pay me to come out there? Oh, we'll just do it online. Sounds good.
Yeah. I do Canmore too. I love going to Canmore. I mean, who doesn't love going to Canmore? It's not even that far.
No.
But I normally will do them virtually. And if we feel the need to go in home and verify, then I'll make the drive out after, just to make sure. But I'll try and push virtual as much as I can if it's past that 30-minute normal travel time commute within Calgary kind of thing. So.
Well, that's good. The reason I'm asking is because I have people that are like, whenever you go into BC or in Ottawa, they hate Alberta.
Yes. But they all move here. Interesting.
And I'm like, I've never really experienced that. I've experienced the snide remarks every once in a while, kind of like the sarcasm behind it. Not really they're kind of like they're pinchy, but they're not awful. I don't really take offense to them because I'm like, but here's where I come from. I don't take offense to them because I listen to the Albertans talk about everybody else. And I'm like, oh, you guys, who hurt you?
Yeah, seriously.
Was your wife from BC or was your husband from Ottawa? What happened?
From BC. I get it. Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
I love BCers. They're so tame.
Oh, I wouldn't live there again though.
Mm-hmm.
Like I grew up, born and raised in Kelowna,
Mm-hmm.
moved away the second that I could, and have been in Alberta ever since. Moved back briefly to Kelowna. That was long enough for me, and back to Alberta. So it's a different vibe from
Yeah.
Alberta. Very obviously, very very different.
I've heard that though. You're not the
Yeah.
first person to tell me that. Like it's kind of like, there's like that old saying, like in the States, like people aren't from Pasadena, they moved to Pasadena. It's kind of like similar to Kelowna. There's
Yeah.
not, I don't know anybody that is like born and raised in Kelowna still lives there.
Yeah, not many. No.
Yeah.
My sister is one. I know that. She's still there, but
Sister's
but
holding
there's
on.
not many. Even like, yeah, colleagues when I worked at another moving company there, growing up, there was really is very limited on who was born and raised. And I wasn't even born. I was born in Vancouver, White Rock, and then moved to Kelowna. So yeah, there's not many people left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's fair. I mean, like Kelowna's kind of, I've heard different things about Kelowna. I hear like Kelowna's like more of like a party town. It's kind of like where everybody goes to kind of like hang out and be goofy. It's like the long weekend destination if you want to just go and like
All
get away.
summer. Yeah, I can't. I won't even go visit in the summer. You can't find parking to go to the beach. Good luck eating anywhere downtown. Good luck walking. Like I just think of downtown Vancouver and the chaos there. Like that's Kelowna, but it's not built for that kind of capacity of people at all. It's grown so much, and it's either 50 degrees or it's on fire in the summer. So it's not even enjoyable at all. I don't
blame you. Now, Remind me, you and I we're not far from each other, both in Airdrie, aren't we? We're both in the same, like similar community.
You're in Kings Heights, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're like literally neighbors.
I was like, I remember when we were talking and I was like, oh my God, we should like go for coffee. And you were like, yeah. And then it like never happened.
Yeah, isn't that normally how it goes? We'll plan like 8 months later, we'll go for coffee. That's how friends do it.
It has to be like last minute, like, hey girl, what are you doing? Actually, we did meet for lunch and it was so funny. I remember that when we had gotten, so we met each other and then we got introduced by somebody else. I don't remember who introduced us. Was it Jen Givlin?
It was Jen Givlin, yeah.
Jen Givlin introduced us and we were like, oh yeah, sure, blah, blah, blah. And then I walk into State and Main and I'm like, oh my God, it's you. That's awesome.
We met last night and we didn't even know that it was a snowstorm. So we were both late trying to get to State and Main anyways. Yeah.
Even though it's like a rock throw from us.
Seriously, yeah. Could have walked, Siri, yeah.
You probably would have got there faster. Absolutely. And then I remember I was looking at your truck and I was like, this is sweet.
Your truck's sick too. Yeah, we went and did the truck swap.
I know.
Go check them out. Let me see yours.
Right? What's your Ford got in it? What is your Dodge got in it? you know we're Albertan when.
Seriously, yeah. One of the guys at the office calls me the redneck in heels. He's like, You were just meant to be an Albertan. He's like, you show up in your 6-inch heels, getting out of your big truck, and he's like, you just should have been here your whole life. And probably, yeah, I was just meant to be here.
I mean, I love that you're cute and do that, but I don't walk out of my truck. Well, that's a lie. Sometimes I have heels on, but I always wear boots. So it's always like, like they're up to like the knee.
Yeah.
And they're like a stiletto, probably about like, I don't know, like 3.5 inches. But I don't need a lot of heel because I'm already like 5'10".
Yeah, I'm like 5'1". So I could rock heels and you wouldn't even know. When I wear flat shoes, they're like, oh my God, you're so short. I'm like, I've been short my whole life. I just wear heels all the time, so you would never really know.
Well, you know that saying about short girls, right?
I've heard many, but I'm not sure what you're gonna say.
I'm not sure what you're gonna say. They always say the shorter girls. It's because they're the closest to home, which is hell.
Hell, well, that's accurate. Yeah, that makes sense. I like it.
Because you guys are feisty. Yeah, they're always like, you never see them coming. They just whip out of the corner. And then it always cracks me up because my best friend is short and she has glasses. And they're always like, it's the short ones with glasses that you got to watch out for. And I just looked at her and I'm like, accurate.
Oh, I love it. That's awesome.
It's true. We went all the way through junior high and high school together. And I was a bit of the mouthpiece, but she was the one she's the one who would throw fists before I would. But I would never let her get any further than I had to. But I mean, it was one of those things where whenever someone would like talk smack to me, I'd be like, you sure you want to talk smack to me? I'm just going to go talk to my best friend over here.
Right over there. Yeah.
She's real close to hell, you know. She got 0 fucks to give at this point.
Not much to lose either. No.
And but then of course, because of the school we went to, her brothers had gone to the same schools, and her cousins were all there. She's Italian.
Oh yeah.
You know, yeah, Italians, right? And I always make the joke that I'm like, we'd walk down the hallway and I'd be like, you know her? And she'd be like, no. I'm like, she's probably your cousin somewhere. She's like, probably.
Did cousin removed or something.
Well, we always made the joke. I was like, yeah, you guys are all cousins somewhere down the line. You're related. She's like, it's not wrong.
That's so funny.
I'm like, that's awesome. But yeah, so you do say that you have noticed that, because I never did. Because I listen to Albertans, and Albertans just talk so much shit about everybody that I'm like,
yeah. Well, I mean, they think we're ruining it. Like people, and I think, what was it? For every 7 people into Alberta, there's 1 person out.
Okay.
So there's like everyone's coming here. And so we've driven up housing prices. We've populated or like oversaturated the, you know, like the need for work kind of thing, and taking work from other Albertans kind of thing. So I think it's just that we're kind of taking over, right? So it's
like we came over. Well, I'm going to tell you a secret. So my family came over from Quebec.
See, I feel like that's okay though. Like that's okay. Quebec is you don't hear many people coming from Quebec or anywhere else really. It's just BC and Ontario.
BC and Ontario are big, to come over here. But you know what though? At the same time, I'm like, when people are like, oh my God, they're coming over here and taking all the Alberta jobs. I'm like, well then go. If you were an asset at your job, you wouldn't be in trouble.
Yep.
So here's the thing. It is making our economy richer in its own way, because now we have more workers, we have more of this, we have more of that. But right now in construction, we have a labor shortage because of the amount of bullshit going on. Personally, in my opinion, and I mean, it's what it's all about, right? Opinions are like assholes, and here we go.
Yep.
So my opinion is that people are too greedy. So what happens is that what you're charging for your house, based on the material costs, everything, blah, 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 you're not putting the right people in the right places. They are then creating more money for that house to be built. I'm just taking this as an example based on what I know. And then they're nickel and diming their trades to get it done, right? So we'll say like a developer of sorts is nickel and diming. Because what's happening is it's like they have to keep going back because there's a miss with communication. There's a miss with how the office is running. There's too many cooks in the kitchen. And then there's too many people in power positions that don't have a fucking clue. Yeah. And it's like they're spending like it's their own little personal piggy bank. And I'm like, or there's kickbacks. I've heard of this so many times. There's so many kickbacks in industry. I mean, I've physically witnessed kickbacks, and I'm just like, but I'm not a kickback person. I'm very much against it. And I won't work with trades that do kickbacks, because I've had people be like, well, Lisa, if we do this, and I'm like, no, we're not doing that. I'm like, do your fucking job.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
But that's what happens.
That's what the whole point. And I struggle with that too, where it's like, no, I want you to work with me or refer me or use me, in whatever capacity we're talking, because my services are worth working with. Like, you want to work with me. I don't want to have you pay me or vice versa to do business together.
Right.
Yeah, it's a catch-22 on that. I get it, I guess, but I don't necessarily agree with it either.
So here's the thing. So with me in my industry, because I'm construction and I'm a construction consultant and I'm known in certain spaces, I'm known really well in certain spaces. So every once in a while, I'll get contractors that come up to me and they're like, oh, Lisa, we want you to do some like business development. And I'm like, no. I'm like, you can't afford me for the business development that you want. Like, you can't afford it. Here's what I will do. I will tell you 3 things that you need to attend, and you can attend them on your own, and maybe you'll see me there, maybe you won't. But other than that, that's as far as it's going to go. I will give you a direction. You have to be able to get into that yourself. You have to be able to pay for the ticket yourself, and I will see you there. Other than that, I'm not interested in holding your hand through any of it, because, when it comes down to business development, I'm like, I don't want to help build your sales team and introduce you to all the people, because then my name is automatically attached to it. And I get kind of a little bit weird about that. I'm like, I'm a consultant, in condo. I don't want my name attached to all these people. So if someone says to me, oh, I heard you worked with XYZ company, I'll be like, yeah, I did. I helped them with business development and, help them with their HR and their safety packages and got them on the right track. But that's about as far as it goes. I was a paid consultant. And if they're like, oh, well, would you recommend them? And I'm like, depends on what the job is.
Right.
Like at the end of the day. And here's the thing. I've worked with companies that I've tried to help set up that I won't refer them to anything.
Right.
My job is to protect my client. So if I've got a chance to see inside of your company and I don't like what I see, I'm not bringing you over with me.
100%. Yeah.
Right?
Well, your name's attached to it. Why would you put yourself in that position?
Sorry,
that follows you far longer than all the good that you've had.
Well, that's it, right? And not only that, but it's like for me, like when I've had people, I've had it out with certain owners where they're like, Lisa, why didn't you bring me onto this project? And I'm like, I got a really good view of inside your walls. So if I didn't bring you onto this project, you need to go back to the drawing board and ask yourself why.
Yeah.
Because there's zero reason in your brain as to why I did this to you. You think that I just slighted you. I didn't slight you. I protected me and I protected my client. That's my job. So they hire me for it. I know how the inner workings of your company is. So go fix it. I'm like, go back and read the last email I sent you. And then maybe you'll figure it out.
Yeah. And then come talk to me again when you've corrected it.
Right? Stupid. So
one thing I like hearing the truth.
What's that?
People don't like hearing the truth.
No, they don't. They don't like the truth and they don't like change.
No.
Stupid. I know, it makes me crazy. So what are some of your favorite things about your job?
The flexibility to be anywhere. Work from home. I can work in the office. I can go work at a coffee shop. I'm not in 9 to 5. I'm not a sit at the desk for 8 hours person. And the more I do this job, the more I realize how not that I am. All the clients I get to meet really cool people.
Cool.
Really, really cool people. And then go into some pretty incredible houses. There's one in Canmore that was on the Globe and Mail that I got to see, and the customer was amazing. They made me cookies. They made me cappuccino. Just awesome. So, and it's different. Like wherever someone's moving, even if it's Toronto, every move is different and the requirements are different. It's not just I'm picking up an Airdrie and taking you to Toronto and it's the same boring thing over and over. Everyone's story is different. The requirements are different. Possessions, storage, new builds, their story as to why they're going obviously is very different as well. So, and then being a part of, it is one of the top 3 stressors in your life. I think it's death, divorce, and moving is the top 3. So, which is crazy, but it's a stressful time, and being able to take that one fairly large chunk of stress out of people's lives it's quite fulfilling, actually. I just like helping people. So if I can do that, yeah.
Yeah, well, like attracts like, right? I love helping people too, so I get it. So I think you're so cute when you're like marriage, divorce, and moving. So there are 5 times you have to weed your friend garden. I think it's 5. So it's marriage, divorce, death, birth, and moving across seas. Is when you have to weed your friend garden.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and it's because of the support systems that are attached that then show you a different side. And then you got to start making decisions, and it can't be based off of longevity. Oh, I've known this person my whole life. No, if they're an asshole now, they're going to be an asshole later.
100%.
Do you know what I mean? And sometimes you don't see that until those things happen, because there's everything is emotional. And I think with you and I, where we deal with people, is that the emotional component is not necessarily in the moving. It's in the amount of money it's going to take to move, and then the displacement.
Yeah.
Right. So, that's where it gets very emotional for people. So having someone like you, and Nicole, you're amazing. You're fun. You're welcome. You're bubbly. You're easy to get along with. You're funny. You have that little bit of sarcasm. You're very witty. So you have a diverse way of being with different people. You can gauge your audience and kind of, act accordingly with who you're dealing with to kind of ease that tension for them, because it's an emotional process. Moving is very emotional, especially if you have to move for reasons that are out of your control, then that makes it 10 times more stressful.
definitely. Yeah, a lot of moves are, well, yeah, you add death and moving into it. Yeah, that's a whole nother, after my dad passed, felt like I got an influx of people that were moving because a loved one passed. And I'm like, wow, that's a really interesting way, universe, to
Yeah.
just smack that in my face a little more. But it also flipped how I perceived them, because I've dealt with people who have moved after a loved one passed, and I didn't understand it the same, where I had a different sort of what's the word, empathy towards the situation, and an understanding where I could deal with them differently, where before I don't think I had that capacity to really understand and be able to be there for them in the way that they need it. So add those two things. Or again, divorce, like if you mix all three of them together, and that's just a hurricane of fear and stress and that.
Yeah. You know what else I find? Because I too went through this, where I found an influx of people who were like narcissistic abuse survivors when I went through my bullshit.
Right.
And I'm going to tell you something. On one side of it, you're like you said, right? You're like, oh, that's a weird way for the universe to kind of like throw this at me. But what I learned from it was that it's also a gift.
Yeah.
Because it's saying, not only are you going to be more compassionate in this situation, but these are other people that are going to understand that you're going through something too. And then it's almost like you kind of heal a little bit together with every move, with every person. There's a different perspective. There's a different light. And it helps you heal a little bit more, because now it's okay to talk about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, whereas before you'd almost have to keep it under wraps, keep it under your hat, blah, blah, blah. So sometimes it's a gift, and you got to be like, and you got to look at it like, you know, like you said, it's all about perspective, right?
Yeah.
So I thought, when I started meeting all these people, like some of them were like, you know.
There are definitely those for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, you know, and then there's the ones that they hide, like they're like a wolf in sheep's clothing. They're like, oh, these people are so mean to me, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, oh, and because you're in your healing journey, so you're like, oh, let me help you. These are the things you need to, you know, this is the checklist you need to go through to see if this is what the person really is. Give me some examples. You know, it sounds like it, but they might just have tendencies. You know, if you live with someone for long enough, or if you have a parent like that, you can have tendencies. It doesn't mean you are. They just have to be kind of unlearned. And, you know, you're going through this and you're being super sympathetic. And then all of a sudden you find out they're the fucking narcissist, and you're like, oh, you cunts.
Yeah. Really? I got tricked again.
You know what I hate? And I'm going to be honest, as a female, and this is strictly, and I think that this is strictly as a female for me, is I hate going into a business meeting and a woman cry in a business meeting.
Yes.
I
agree.
Fucking tacky.
Yeah.
I hate it.
My problem is, and I don't think I've ever cried in a meeting, but I cry when I get angry.
Mm-hmm.
And that is almost worse. Like for me, because I'm like, I can't cry because you just can't do that. And then it's like, I get angry about something, or I get super emotional or passionate about the subject. And I'm like, my point is not getting across. People aren't listening to me. And then I get angry, and then I want to cry. And I'm like, damn it. I've walked out of a meeting or two to not do that, because you can't.
But that's the way you do it.
Like,
but that's what you do. That's what you do. You walk out of the meeting.
Yeah.
You leave. Like, that's what you do. If your emotional state can't handle what's happening, you have to dismiss yourself in order to regulate yourself. Because when that happens, because we're human, it all happens to all of us. But as I've gotten older, oh no, I don't look old. I know I look great, right?
You're definitely not old. No.
As I've gotten older, so I am 44, just so you know.
No.
Yes.
Jesus. I feel like you told me how old you were before, and I didn't believe you, and I still don't, but need your secrets.
But you just need some melanin in your skin.
Okay. Noted. All right.
But after I turned 40, I started to realize, you know, and then there's also things that you go through in life, right? Just life changes in general. And so what I realized is that when someone starts to, when you start to feel those emotions creep up on you, I would take a pause and just listen to what they're saying. Because sometimes what happens is we get so passionate about what we're talking about because we know the subject matter so well and we see the problem that they're not seeing. But what we're missing is we're not letting them finish. Maybe they're going to see it too. They just have to talk through it.
Yeah.
And we're too quick to interject because we're like, it's kind of like a little bit of like the ADHD or the OCD, or like it's like you got to cut them off to be like, listen, you're not hearing me. You're not hearing me. You're not hearing me. And because that's how it feels. In that moment, you've had your moment to chat, but then they'll overtalk you and they'll be like, well, and then you're like, I wasn't finished.
Now it's started. It's boiling now. Yeah.
That's right. Because now it starts at like, it just continuously escalates to the point where you're like, I'm going to choke this son of a bitch.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what I do is I just stop. I just stop and I listen. I let them go on their little tirade. And I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. Like, it took a lot because I'm someone who will interject a lot. But I've had to learn that you just have to stop and listen, and not listen to answer, listen.
It's a true skill to do that. And I've been flipping where, are they actually asking for my opinion, or are they just wanting to talk about it? Like, are they just trying to talk it through? Because when I go in with trying to have the solution, or I know the solution, but maybe that's not what they're even looking for. Like, maybe they're going to get to the point eventually. They just need to work it out. I know I do that. I just talk to people and I'm like, I don't need you to say anything to me. I just need to get there myself. Right. But it's a skill to step back and listen. And not to respond, to actually try and understand what, and sometimes your opinion and thoughts aren't actually needed or warranted. And like, you don't have to give them every time. That was another big like epiphany I had, where just because I have one doesn't mean that anyone needs or cares about it, right? Like, it's just, okay, I can have it, but they don't actually care.
Well, so funny story. You're right. And I do that with a lot of my clients, where I'm like, maybe it's my opinion's not valid here. If they want my opinion, they'll ask. When it comes to my relationships, like anywhere, kids, parents, significant other, whatever, I'm like, I don't care if you want my opinion, I'm going to give it. Take notes, get a pen.
Yeah. My partner and I are both very much like that. Yeah. I've been working on it because we are so bullheaded and opinionated, both of us. And we both talk over each other, which really bodes well when you're trying to have a conversation, for like cutting each other off every third word. So we've been working on that, but it's a serious life skill, and we're not taught that at a young age. Like, no. That's not something that you're really taught. It's just figure it out, I guess, or don't.
Yeah. And it's hard to teach. Because even my kids, I find like I'll say something, like I'll give them a list of chores to do and I'll tell them, but I'm not yelling them. I'm just like, can you please make sure blah, 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 blah. And they're like, okay. And normally if I follow it in a text, it's done. But if I don't, and I come back, they're like, and this is what's really bad, because I was with a person who is a narcissist, right? So if my kids are like, you didn't say that, I'm like,
twitching.
I'm like, yes, I did. I'm not crazy.
Oh, PTSD. We've been triggered. Yeah.
My poor children are like, Mom. And I'm like, listen, I'm like, so then I have to like breathe. I'm like, I did say it. This is when I said it. This is what you were doing. This is what I was doing, because you become hyper sensitive to everything that's going on around you. It's like, this is when I said it at this time, at this day, you were wearing this, this is where you were standing, and this is how it was said. And it's a horrible trauma, but this is what happened. I said, like, I asked my daughter to vacuum the stairs today. And I was like, I asked you to vacuum the stairs. And she's like, no, you didn't. I said, yes, I did. I said, you were giving me a hug. You were being a suck. I'm like, 2 hours ago, I'm like, I looked up the stairs and said, babe, can you please vacuum just this part of the stairs right here, and your stairs too, please? And she said, no, you just told me to vacuum mine. And I'm like, no, I didn't. And she's like, well, I'm like, you can just say, I didn't hear you, or I don't remember, Mom. And I'm like, those are perfectly acceptable
Yeah.
responses, but telling me that I didn't say it is not something you should do. It's very triggering.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, and that's just not for me. That's for a lot of people. If people have said something to you and you don't recall that, and that's something I do with people when people say, well, you said this. I'm like, I don't recall that. I'm not saying I didn't say it. I'm saying I don't recall that.
Yeah.
Or I don't recall you saying that to me. I'm sorry. So then that's why I'm always like, follow it up with a text message.
Yeah. Well, I don't think, I don't know. I mean, the way our brains work and how busy we are. I mean, even kids, like is it bad to really follow up and say, hey, like well, maybe not as per our conversation with your kids, but like just following up in general, being like, hey, we talked about XYZ. Please make sure this is done by whenever.
You don't have to say that.
Is that even terrible? Like,
you can just reiterate exactly what you said verbatim. Like, that's what I do with my kids. Like, so on my text message, it says, hi, babies. Please clean the kitchen. Make sure the counters are included. Please take out the garbages. Please vacuum the stairs. Please vacuum the main floor. If it's not done, these are the consequences. Thank you. I love you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's the same. It's the exact like verbatim what you said to them, but you're just doing it in a text because it's not business, right? It's not like as per our conversation, because I do that a lot. There's a lot of times where I'll have a conversation with someone and I'll say as per our conversation, and I do that, and people are like, why do you always follow up with a message? And I'm like, because I don't ever want someone. I'm like, I've been burnt where we've had an agreement and someone's like, I never said that. Do you have that in writing? And my ex used to say that to me all the time. You got that in writing? You got that in writing?
Yeah.
And I was like,
cringe. That's terrible.
I'm like, I will.
Well, I mean, for business, it's important too. I mean, we're all busy and, things slip our mind. And I mean, I've had with clients, like, I don't remember you saying that. Like, I don't recall that part of our conversation, or vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you told me this, but I don't remember, or there's 5,000 things going on at the same time. And it's like, we probably talked about it. I don't doubt it, but I have no idea what we actually talked about. Like, what do we do, kind of thing. So follow-ups are important. I follow up with myself. I email myself.
Me too.
For whatever I was doing, and I'll email myself to do things or remind myself.
Well, I'm OCD about how many emails I see in my inbox.
Ooh, yeah.
I'm one of those. Like, there's zero. It's never higher than like maybe 50. Ever.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't go to bed 50 is probably the max.
But that's like, if it's
sleep and be okay.
When I say 50, I mean like my personal email where it's just garbage.
Oh,
I can go up to 50 and then it's like they all get deleted. But in my business, it never gets higher than 10.
Wow, good for you.
Can't allow it.
I wish.
Yeah.
I wish.
Yeah, I'm insane.
Like that. And then I get 200 emails a day, and it just was not feasible. I'd never sleep. See,
and I'm the crazy person. Like, I'm the crazy person that, like, I used to get like 80 emails in like a few hours, and I was like, and I just go through them, and I'd respond super fast. Because in my brain, the way it works is the faster you get it off your plate, the faster you don't have to think about it.
That's true. Yeah.
So that's how I would work. Now, don't get me wrong. Like, I much like yourself, I was up to almost about 200 emails a day, but I never sat with more than 20 in my inbox ever. And my bosses were like, do you sleep? And I'm like, yes, I'm just very quick.
Yeah.
And they're like, how so? And I'm like, you got to utilize what you have around you. I do talk text.
Yeah.
So I talk text all my emails. I just go through them really quick. Sometimes they'll have a couple of grammatical errors, but you know what? I've responded, and 9 times out of 10, that's what the client wants, that I've just responded. And I'll even say at the bottom of my email, I apologize for any grammatical or spelling errors. This was a quick message sent out to you via voice text.
Yeah.
Which most people, I was so funny. I used to have clients would call me up and they'd be like, yeah, I don't care. I'm like, they're like, we're just so grateful that you responded inside of like an hour.
Yeah. I did that, and I sent it was not good at all.
Was it legible? Was it?
Was not
job
appropriate in any way, shape, or form. Thankfully, it was a realtor friend that I knew, and after that happened, I'm like, I can't respond to people with voice with talk to text ever again, because I am driving a lot, and I mean, if I'm at my computer and I'm stationary, then of course I'm going to respond right away. But when I'm out and about, it was too scary what was sent, and I read it back, and I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, thank God we know each other, and you didn't. He just thought it was hilarious. But I've been terrified to do that again.
That's hilarious.
But yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like, not like in hindsight, it's funny, right?
Well, of course it's funny. There's some things too, and my LOL would be LAWL, like lol, not LOL. And I'm
Lol.
like, they knew what I meant, but that's not what it was. So
That's funny.
yeah, it is funny, but
It's because you
yeah,
got an Android. It's because you
I
got an
am an
Android.
Android. It's true. Yeah. Yeah. And I drive
What
a
is
Ford.
that?
So like Ford and an Android together is just no good. It's no good.
You know what? It's funny because my other half drives a Ford, and he has an Android for his work phone, and he has a Apple for his personal. And he's like, I want to throw this fucking Android out the window. He's like, I can't talk text on it. He's like, I sound like a crazy person.
Working too. It just doesn't work anymore.
He's like, I don't even know. It pulls shit out of thin air. I'm telling it what to say, and it's like, I didn't say that.
I don't understand.
Yeah.
Or
like he's like, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. And I'm like,
yeah. So it probably is the Android and Ford combination together. But
maybe
I can't switch. I have an iPad that I use for work, and I only use it for a program. I can't even bring myself to open up the emails. Like I don't like. I just don't like.
Tell me something. Like the Android doesn't do the CarPlay aspect. Is that just an Apple aspect?
No, I have my Android Auto, which is CarPlay. Like same.
Okay.
Yeah.
But and like, can you utilize it? Like, is it always kind of a problem, or do you just joke because when you try to do it, it goes all kerfuffy? But if you actually did it like in your truck, because I do everything through my truck because we're always driving. Yeah. So I'll hit like my messages and I'll be like, send message to her. I'll be like, like I can't say it right now. My Siri's listening, but I'll be like, hey, like, can, text this person, and it'll be like, what do you want to say? Actually, my Siri has so much attitude. I'll be like here, I'll watch this. Check this shit out. Hey, Siri.
Huh?
She does that shit. Mm-hmm.
That's wild.
Just such an attitude. Or she's like, what? I'm like, Siri, why you got an attitude?
Like
I got an attitude.
ChatGPT, like the things that ChatGPT says, it's life-changing. But like I have full-out conversations with it, and I've argued with it as well. I'm like, explain to me how you came up with this, because I think it's blah, blah, blah. And I'll have like a back and forth for like 10, 15 minutes with ChatGPT, and it holds strong, but it gets spicy about it. And I'm like, well, I'm the expert in this. Like, just because you have, all of Google to look up doesn't mean you know any better. And it's like, well, of course I do.
So yeah. A friend of mine he's like, I was having a fight with ChatGPT, and I started laughing. I'm like, you're fighting with AI? He's like, yes. He's like, I was writing a document, and he's like, and I asked it to polish it, and ChatGPT came back saying that it disagreed with my dissertation and that I was wrong. And he's like, and I fought with ChatGPT for 20 minutes. And I'm like, have you ever heard of the story of the ass and the tiger? And he's like, remind me. And I'm like, well, there's an ass and a tiger, and the ass comes out and says the grass or the sky is purple. And the tiger's like, no, it's not, it's blue. And he's like, no, it's purple. And he's like, fight me. And the tiger looks at him and he's like, what the hell's wrong with you? He's like, the sky is blue. What the hell is wrong with you? And they start this massive like debate, and they're screaming at each other, and it's wild. And the tiger goes, I'm going to go tell the lion, and the lion's going to side with me, and I'm going to show you. And he's like, fine, let's go. So they go up to see the lion, and the tiger's like, ass says the sky's purple, and I'm saying that it's blue. It's blue. Tell him it's blue. He's like, he looks at the ass and he's like, you're right, it's purple. Take off. And the tiger's looking at him, and he's like, what are you doing? And he's like, well, you're in trouble now, because he's like, you basically wasted my time, your time. And he's like, to what? To argue with an ass? And I'm like, so now when people like cause these little arguments with me, I just go, I'm the lion. I'm the lion. I'm not arguing with you. But it's funny though, because I will be honest with you, when I was bugging him about it, and like you're telling me the same thing, I'm like, what's funny about it is that an AI will actually have an opinion and throw it back at you. And it's almost kind of like you don't feel as crazy because you're having this argument, and you're not having it with you. Like, do you ever just sit down and you're like, oh, if I do this and this will happen. Well, I don't want to do that. Well, if this person says this, and I'm going to do this.
Arguing with yourself.
Yes. And so then people are like,
your rebuttal to it, right? Yeah.
Right.
And I needed to justify that I'm right, even though it's going to tell me that I'm wrong. I'm like, no, I'm right with this. and maybe it'll make me question it a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
but not, yeah, it's weird. I utilize it for a lot, obviously, but
Me
it's,
too.
yeah, the arguments are, I was like, wow, that's how far I have come with thinking this is
Right?
ridiculous and I'll never use this. And
Well,
here I am arguing with it.
I find it interesting, like when I watch like the TikToks and all that, and people are like, they'll be like, "Hey Google, like tell me what's going to happen in 2026," or "Hey," or Alexa, whatever, and they start talking to the AI, or they go to the ChatGPT and they start asking for what's gonna go down at a certain point in time in history, and it like spits this shit out, and you're just like, so now it's a fortune teller?
Yeah, how? Although I think the Simpsons are fortune tellers, but
Me too.
I don't know how. So maybe
Me too.
ChatGPT is the new Simpsons, or they're correlated somehow. Maybe it's the same.
Same.
Maybe it's the Simpsons guy.
Girl, I remember I would get like, and it's funny because if you're someone who grew up watching The Simpsons, you totally like when people are like, "Oh, The Simpsons had it right again," and you're like, "Oh shit, which episode was this?"
Right.
And then you're like, or you watch something and you're like, "Oh my god, that was on The Simpsons." I swear to God, I saw a season where like there was an episode with that exact thing. Like when the COVID flu came, and I was like, "Oh my god, there was an episode with the Asian flu on The Simpsons."
I don't. Was it the dome one? No.
Mm-hmm.
Was that the one? Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the one where Lisa becomes president because she's cleaning up all of Trump's mess, which means that that's what's happening right now. That there's gonna be a female president cleaning up his fucking mess.
Oh my god.
Because remember, like in The Simpsons, he completely destroyed everything.
Yeah.
Like, everything. And like the new president was female and had to clean everything up and had to renegotiate and bring back like
I'm surprised she didn't get blamed based on how.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, this episode's going on right now.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Look at that.
Somebody's a prophet over there and the writers of The Simpsons.
Seriously, it's crazy. Yeah.
It is crazy. Yeah. I'm not gonna, yeah. And it's not like it happened, like the Simpsons like episode airs and then like, like a year later it happens. Like it's years later.
Years. Yeah.
And you're like, whoa, that's a little trippy. And like, especially when you're looking at it, you think back, and then you know how they, like when you watch Back to the Future, we've already surpassed that timeline. And we don't have flying cars.
Yeah, what happened? We argue with AI instead. That's what we do.
I mean, I feel like it's safer that we're on the ground, if I'm being honest. Probably. With the amount of stupidity. I mean, you drive, you work for a moving company, they drive. I mean, those boys in trucks, I mean, they could probably tell you some stories. I've heard stories from truckers. I like watching the reels of that one guy. I don't remember his name, but he's always got the red front hood for the truck, like his semi.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
He's so funny. He's so funny. And like when he does his commentaries, he's like, oh, look at this idiot.
And then like the Pac-Man, when they ride the line, num, 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 num. Like, is that him? Yeah. It's good. It's very good.
But it's funny how he like it's every day. He's like, oh, look at this guy. Oh yeah. Okay. He's going to slow down in front of me. Let's just merge out and then like slam on our brakes. Sounds great. And I'm just like, but I have a friend of mine who was on my podcast, who's a trucker, and he would tell me some horror stories. He's like, he'd call me and I'm like, hey bud, what's going on? He's like, oh yeah, I'm on the 403. I'm on the 401, right? Which is over in Toronto area. It's in Ontario, and that's one of the major highways. And he's like, I want to shoot myself in the face. I'm coming into Toronto. And I'm looking at the time and I'm like, oh, it's like 2-3 o'clock here. And he's like, yeah, rush hour. And I'm like, is it that bad? I don't know. I've never driven it. And he's like, yeah, you want to rip your eyeballs out. He's like, nobody lets you over. You're basically gridlock. He's like, it's ridiculous. And I'm like,
I don't know. I never understood the not letting people in. I had a lady I was trying to, the intersection where you can go to like Shoppers and Save On from, So I was there and they were doing line painting. I think it was this morning or yesterday morning.
Yesterday.
Was it yesterday? Yeah. So I'm trying to get out. Didn't know. And so I'm trying to get over, and this lady, she just wouldn't let me. She just stayed right beside. And I'm like, is this real life? Like, how much further are you going to go with me being ahead of you, one car? So then the lady who was in front of her started waving me up to go in front of her. So I was like, now you're behind 2 cars, lady.
Yeah.
Like, you could have just let me in. And how much further did you go?
Right.
I just don't understand that mentality of not letting people in. I don't get that.
I don't either. I will do it sometimes.
Well, if there's zipper merging at the very end, then probably I'm not going to let you in. But, you know,
let me tell you. So I'm one of those people that when I'm coming off a ramp and going onto the highway and you are going slow, I will cut you off.
Yes.
Whether I'm the car behind you coming down, I will cut over and I will cut you off. Or if I'm the car coming up, I will basically box you out and be like, piss off. The lane is there. The lines are already open. That's your time. If you've caught up to the speed of traffic, that's your indication to move over. Not fucking till the lines run out, asshole. I'm not going to do 100 clicks or 105 waiting for you to decide. If I've already decided to
see on a ramp going onto the highway, you are going on to 110.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you doing 70 and proceeding to do 70? It's painful.
It's very painful.
Yeah,
it's very painful, and it's like
glad I have a big fast truck, and just get out of my way.
That's me too. I'm like, I was driving my kids, and my kids are like, "Mom, and I'm like, "Listen, they're gonna get out of the way. Mom drives a big truck. We're gonna win. We win."
Yes.
But then I was driving back from Edmonton this weekend, and there was what do you call them? Cybertruck. Yeah. Those things are ugly as sin. And I'm just driving past, and I'm like, I'm not even going to look at the driver. I don't even care. I'm like, why would you waste that much money on something like that? Like, here's the thing. Am I against the idea of an electric vehicle? Not really. I'm not really against the idea of an electric vehicle. I don't think we have a grid to support it yet. I don't like for what they want to push for.
They were saying that ChatGPT is a strain on the grid. To stop asking too many questions to ChatGPT because it's like causing grid issues. And so, we can't sustain all cyber vehicles if we can't even have ChatGPT.
So here's the thing. So I hosted a function when I was, I'm a volunteer for COF, which is Condominium Owners Forum. And we do a lot of different types of condo chats. We bring people in from different areas, different sectors, different consulting firms, lawyers, everything. And we have conversations with condos, so condo owners, and board members on kind of like giving them like a crash course education on basically what our industry is, right? And so we did electric vehicles because right now there's a push from the city of Calgary to install charge ports in your condo. And I'm like, I don't support it. So the city of Calgary had come to me and asked me about it. Like, oh, can we do a presentation? And I'm a gatekeeper because I'm the one who coordinates. And I was like, no. And they're like, why? And I'm like, because we don't have enough information on that. I'm not going to get you to petition corporations through me to pay for an engineer and an electrical engineer and a trade to come out, survey their property, see if it's even possible. And you guys are only going to cover a portion of that cost because you want the research to be done and you guys to have a copy of that research. So that's why you're going to pay them to do it. But technically, if they're out 10,000, you're only covering 5.
Right.
And I'm like, why would they do that? Most corporations don't have a saturated amount of electric vehicles, number 1. Number 2, our grid can't support it. Number 3, we don't have enough information. Number 4, there's fires with EVs and we have to find out if they're going to start being treated like propanes where they're not allowed to be underground. There's too much. There's too many questions. Right. I'm not going to let someone solicit or convince a board of directors to spend money like this because that would be a mismanagement of funds in the eyes of many of their corporation, and they can be sued for that. That's exactly what I said. That's exactly the term I use all the time. I'm like, let's just settle down. So when I did this great big, so I'm going to actually I have one of the firefighters. He actually owns a company, and he also owns he's the founder of hang on, I have it. Hang on. It's like all right here on my little papers. Hang on. Let me see it. I lied. Anyway, it's association. He has an association as well where he teaches this. And it's like Alberta. I don't remember. Hang on. I have a file right here. Hang on. Oh, Alberta Vehicle Extrication Association. And then his company is JRSS Services Ltd. But he's a firefighter by trade. So he's been a firefighter for 35 years. And he has made it his mission to look into all of the aspects of EV and fires. And him and I were, he's so knowledgeable. And he's like, well, you can't use fire blankets because if you use fire blankets, he's like, you could actually turn it into a bomb. And I was like, he's like, if you,
oh my God.
And I was like, what happened?
I wouldn't have thought of that. Oh, man.
I wouldn't have either. But the way he explains it, okay, and how he goes into depth of all of these things and how he has a video and it shows what happens if you try to use a fire blanket on an EV, like on an EV. He's like, if you put it in a certain point and then it basically, it'll melt to the vehicle because those fire blankets can only go up to a certain amount of heat. They burn, and an EV burns way hotter than that. It'll melt to the vehicle, create a locking system, a vapor locking system, and you now have a bomb on your hands. And he's like, so he's like, you have to be careful how you put that fire blanket on and where you put it because it is going to melt to the vehicle. And I'm like, so he's actually going to come on to my COF and then I'm going to put his name out to more companies because he does travel and speak to people about this, but it's super freaking cool. And I'm like, this is amazing. People need to hear this because again, the cart before the horse.
Yeah.
Right. When we get like, I mean, and I even said it like the function that I had hosted, I created an event and people came and I was like, I said, I can see the room is divided in half. Some people are for it. Some people are completely against it. I said, here's the thing for me. I don't think we have enough resources for this to be a thing at this capacity. Mm-hmm. I said, I think bringing in electric vehicles is a start, but let's just point out the elephant in the room. Does everybody remember when we had rolling brownouts when it was really cold? What was the first message they told you? Do not plug in your vehicles.
Yep.
How's anyone getting to work? I was minus 47. I drive a gas and it's in a garage. Guess what? The only thing I have to worry about is my garage maybe not opening, but my truck's going to start.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So that's, you know, I mean, like, are we going to a place where everything is going to be remote? Because if I can't get to work, like for me, like I said, I think electric vehicles are really great downtown. Like even someone like you and I who drive trucks, I hate going downtown Calgary. I hate it. If I had a parkade, just like Bridgeland side, where I could park my truck and take a little EV smart car into downtown, I'd be great.
100%.
I'd be like, yeah, absolutely. I drive an EV all day downtown.
Yeah.
I'd pay for that. I'd pay $35 to pick up a fully charged EV and get around downtown wherever I needed to go. I don't have to pay for parking.
To park anyways.
Yeah. I don't have to pay for parking, especially if they made it so that you didn't have to pay for parking as long as you went and got an EV and you paid $35 a day. The cities would make a killing. You know, so you got a parkade, you park your vehicle, you pay your $35 or $45 and you drive around however long you need to for the day. And wherever it's EV friendly, you don't pay.
Yeah.
Like, then you don't have gas or you don't have all the emissions downtown because now it's all electric.
Yeah.
Right. And you make it available for people. Right. But I mean, like all of that is a cost. But what I'm saying is that as someone who drives a truck, I would park my truck on the outskirts of downtown and take an electric vehicle into downtown.
Yeah. I've walked many kilometers just to not park downtown or try and find parking blocks away from where I actually need to be as well. And you don't fit in most parkades either.
I hate it. Like when people are like, oh, you could just park in the parkade. I saw a truck go down there. And I'm like, yeah, how high is it? And they're like, I don't know. And I'm like, let me explain something to you. I drive a 2021 Ram. It has a fin. So my truck might be 6'4", but the fin makes it 6'5.5", 6'6". So if it is 6'4", my fin will hit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's what, and I said, and let me tell you something. I learned that the hard way. Thank God it was surface parking, but I had to, there was, so what happens is, you know those ones where you go up and then there's a surface parking and then you can go under and then in like underground? Yeah. Well, underground, like you can be, it's covered parking.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you go through, they have the little like height. Yeah. When you're going up, because it's like 6'4". And I swung the sign. It said 6'4". I was like, oh, my truck's 6'4". No, it's not. No, it's not.
No.
So then when I got to the surface level parking, I was like, we're just going to park out. We're going to keep circling till I find a parking spot because I'm not going in there.
No.
No
We
bueno.
went to ACDC in Vancouver. Was it April 22nd?
Yep.
And I'm hell bent on bringing my truck. I don't, if it's snowing, like I just feel more comfortable driving my truck.
Yep.
And so we had underground parking at the hotel, and I'm like, damn it, how high is it? So it was 6'9". And I was like, I don't actually know how tall my truck is. It's 6'7". So close, but like doable.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, we're gonna try it. We're just gonna do it. And there was, as you kept going down, the height started lower, like lessening as you went further. I'm like, well, I should probably say that, because what if you just kept going, thinking that the roof is tall enough? So I have my sunroof open, just like waiting to hit the ceiling. It's terrifying though, but I actually had to go measure my truck. So I'm like, I'm not actually sure exactly how tall it is,
Right.
but I know that it's not 6'9", but it was very close. So yeah.
Oh no, I hate that. I'm this driver.
Yeah.
God damn it. Yeah, I'm not a fan of driving underground unless it's like there's one Horizon. Have you been underground in Horizon?
No.
Oh my God. Truck stream.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What's the other? There's one downtown. It's I'm blanking on it now. It looks like a big parkade, but you can rent office space and meeting rooms in it, right by the Calgary Tower.
Okay.
Anyways, that is good for trucks as well.
Oh, good to know.
Yeah, I had a meeting there, and I was like, I don't think I'm going to fit, and a truck bigger than mine went in, and so I was good.
Truck bigger than mine. I don't know if it's possible. You got a little lift. Yeah, you got your little chickie, little redneck chickie lift on that thing.
It's just leveled, but it sits so high. I've been looking at a lift though. I've been getting quotes from Airdrie truck.
Don't do it. Don't do it. I heard through the grapevine that unfortunately, I don't know how much validity there is to it, because I find it a little bit kind of, I don't know, out there. But I had heard through a few people that our new prime minister had basically put something out that anybody with a lifted truck has to now bring their truck, has to undo their lift, no tinted windows, no this, no that. I don't know how much validity is there.
I mean, the tinted windows has been around for a long time.
Well, here's the thing. It's illegal to have tinted windows. My tints are illegal, but I get away with it because you can see. Do you know what I mean? So it's just like a little, like technically, if a cop wanted to be a dick, he could pull me over and give me a ticket for my tints on my two side windows, like my passenger and my driver window.
Yeah.
But it's so light, right? It's more of like a deflect for the sun than anything.
Yeah.
It actually does make a world of difference driving.
It really does. Yeah. Yeah. My back seats are like limo tint, and the front,
me too.
Yeah, you can see.
Yeah.
Barely, but yeah, you could. Yeah. For sure. The lift, like, I get to an extent. There's some like, yeah, you have to have mud flaps. There's certain things. I don't know. I'd be hard pressed about a lift to not, like, how do you pass that? How do you enforce? Like, I don't know.
I don't know either. And I'm like, it was so funny
on the road than a lifted truck.
Well, here's the funny thing. So I was like, when I heard it, I'm like, well, you just pissed off Alberta even more if that's the case.
Seriously. It's literally like anywhere you go, it's lifted trucks in Alberta, and you expect it. You see the red plates in BC, and they're all big jacked up trucks, and that's an Alberta thing. That just is wild to me.
So funny that you said that, because what's that?
Smith can fight that for us. The lifted truck.
Oh yeah. Go fight that, Danielle. Do something like do something constructive with your fucking time. Yeah. Go fight for our lifted trucks and our tints.
Important things here.
Get your priorities straight, God's sake.
Oh my God.
I don't know how much validity there is to it. I haven't seen anything personally. I've had conversations about it, but I was just like, well, if you wanted to piss off Albertans, that's the fastest way to do it, because everybody here is pretty honky tonk and they do that shit. But yeah, I was going to get a lift on my truck, but I wasn't going to get a high one. I just wanted one because the first truck that I bought was in 2019 after I left my ex, and I bought a Ram Rebel, and it had air ride. It was their first gen out, like their new gen. Beautiful truck. Loved my Rebel. Unfortunately, there's always going to be problems in the new gens, right? And it was the first one out of the gate. So I was like, I'm look at me. And then I was like, oh, fuck. It was in the shop and I couldn't, and there was a problem. It was warranted and got fixed, but that doesn't help me when I was doing emergency services for condos. I was like, I have to go to like 5 floods. Like I need my truck because I load equipment, like I need a vehicle. But, where it sat was just a little bit higher. So it sat kind of like where yours is.
Right
now. That was where it kind of just sat, right around the 6'6", 6'7". And I liked it at that height. I was like, oh, this is perfect. So basically my truck would need like a 2-inch lift.
Yeah.
And like everybody's like
the level on mine was, because it was really just the back that got the lift on it, and the front, I don't know what they did with the front, but yeah, I was just thinking like a 4-inch lift.
4-inch lift, girl.
I already don't fit in parkades. Like,
listen,
why not?
Well, didn't we just have this conversation that you're 5'1"? What are you going to take a run jump for it, or?
Well, actually, I have a step ladder to just check the oil on the truck. So my boyfriend just ordered me one, actually. Step ladder. Because I'm like, well, when I check the oil, I like have to stand and because I can barely like close the hood. So when I'm going to check the oil, I'm like, and now I'm in my like nice work clothes. And I have to stand on like the rims to reach it. And so he ordered me a step ladder. He's like, I just pictured you not checking the oil because you're in heels in your nice work clothes. And so you're just not going to check it because you can't reach. I'm like, 100% accurate that I probably wouldn't if I had to go to a meeting. So he ordered me a little step ladder. So I'd probably just have the step ladder. I've seen those ladies with like something like a string.
I'm not even going to lie to you. I want to find you. Because I know we're not far. I want to make sure that I see you on that step ladder in your little cutie outfit with your heels on, like with your dipstick out, and I'm going to take a picture and I'm going to fucking make a meme. Tell me you're Albertan without tell me you're Albertan.
Seriously, a step ladder, ridiculous. Oh my God. I laughed. I was like, what was delivered to the door? And I looked, I'm like, step ladder, and he told me why. And I was like, that is amazing.
Yeah, you're like, that could actually be a thing. Thank you, honey. But I mean, I have to be honest with you. I mean, at least he cares enough to think about the fact that you're stubborn and he knows that. So he's like, let me just get you a step ladder.
100%. 100%.
That's love, girl.
It is. Yeah. Yeah. I'm fortunate for sure. He thinks of all the things.
He thinks, like, baby, I'm going to get you a step ladder. We can't have you not checking your oil because you looking pretty today.
I was like, am I high maintenance? I'm like, that sounds awful. And he's like, no, it's just, yeah.
I'm high maintenance. I'm not even going to lie. I'm one of those people. So I remember when I got a truck and the guys right away said to me, even my significant other was like, you need to be able to tie down. You need to be able to change your tire. You need to be able to check it out. Most of that stuff I could do. And I had to learn how to tie things down properly. I had to learn how to use straps properly. And I did. I went and learned how to do it all because I'm like, I agree. If you're going to drive a vehicle like this, there's reasons why we have these vehicles and you need to be able to utilize it at its full capacity. And understand, I have a towing package. I know how much I got to tow. I can haul it up to a trailer, blah, 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 whatever I got to do, right? So fine. But I'm not going to lie to you. If my tire pops, I'm meh.
Oh, yeah.
Meh.
That's why I took mechanics in grade 10, 11, 12.
Mm-hmm.
Because I didn't want to be the girl on the side of the road, the stereotype that didn't know how to change a tire or couldn't check the oil or couldn't do these things.
Yep.
I am capable.
Yep.
But it's very unlikely that I'm going to do it. Unfortunately, Zach works in Edmonton and is gone most of the time. So I don't have the luxury to just call him, but that's what AMA is for as well. So there's one or the other. Could I do it? Yes. Probably.
No, I'm a suckhole. I'm like, how much do you love me? I'm way tired, Brogan.
And that's the important thing.
Well, then I'll call him and be like, so I've got a blue job for you. I've got a blue job, honey. He's like, oh yeah. I'm like, yeah. I got a nail in the tire and I deflated and I'm on the side of Stony. He's like, okay. I'm like, honey. He's like,
and we asked him with our catch the drift here.
He comes and helps me. If he can't come and help me, then like you said, it's AMA.
Yeah.
Yes, hello, tow truck. Please come to pick me up.
Yeah.
Because this is a blue job. Not a pink job, blue job.
100%.
And some people will be like, Lisa, don't do that. You're putting us back. And I'm like, listen, I am
But
allowed.
are we really though? Like I struggle because like I didn't ask to work this much. Like I didn't want this. I didn't choose this.
I didn't
You
choose
know,
this
like
life. Oh my
what?
God. Have you
Like
seen?
what were we fight? Why? Why did we want to do this? Why? I just don't know.
Well, okay. Have you seen the comedy skit by oh God, what's her name? Ali Wong. I think she
Yes.
talks about this. She's like, fuck you, feminists. I didn't want to
Seriously.
work. I didn't ask for this shit.
What was so bad about, I don't know. I don't have kids. I'm not sure, but I don't know. I don't know why we would want, I understand to an extent some things, yes, but I don't know.
I'll tell you what. This
sounds great.
I mean, for me, this is how I look at it as the best of both worlds. I get my own bank account. I don't have to take my spouse's name. I can get divorced. I'm not owned by anybody. But I'll happily stay at home and clean, cook dinner.
Yeah.
Not have to work. I like working. I like purpose.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, like if I had 5 kids right now, I'd have a lot of purpose.
That would be the purpose. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I'd have to learn how to cook. I don't do that, but yeah. It'd be
so easy.
It is. I like baking. I just don't I can't cook. It frustrates me and I spend all this time and then I mess it up and then I don't. So my boyfriend likes cooking, which is unfortunate. He works out of town. So I'm like, that's kind of part of the reason we started dating was because you like to cook and I like to eat. So now you're gone and I have to cook for myself. This is not how it was supposed to work.
Well, it depends on what your flavor palette is, but garlic powder, seasoning, salt, pretty much could spice potatoes and anything else you wanted. If you're like someone who doesn't cook often, that's kind of like your 2 go-to spices.
That's fair. Yeah.
And it's delicious on everything. Now, if you want to get fancy, you get a little parsley and some Parmesan, and then
you don't have to fancy. Not put cheese on anything. Anytime I could put cheese on it of any kind, I'm down. Parmesan, yes.
I love parm. Parm's my favorite. But I will tell you, when I was a kid, and people, I mean, it's funny how you like when you're a kid and you think about all these meals, you're like, oh my God, those are like welfare meals, but they're so good.
Mine is macaroni, like Katie, and hot dogs. And then I started putting beans with them. Holy man. I can't, it's the weirdest thing. I can't explain it. It's like these hickory smoked honey beans and best thing ever.
Really?
But yeah, Katie and hot dogs is like the go-to.
It's a staple, girl. It's a staple. Katie and hot dogs, beans and hot dogs. Love that. And then mine is actually, there's a couple of them. Like the old school grilled cheese on the pan.
Yes.
With real butter.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, I don't use the Kraft slices anymore. They're not the same as they once were. They almost taste kind of funny. So I use real cheese.
Yeah.
I use the Cracker Barrel, like the slices. Pre-made slices.
I get the Kirkland ones.
Yeah.
That are the pre-slice, but same.
Same. Yeah, same. And then so there's the regular grilled cheese, and there's my cousin taught me this one. It was a can of cream of mushroom, a can of tomato, a pound of ground beef, spaghetti sauce.
Oh.
It's so good. I'm not even gonna lie. It's so good. And then when I was a kid, I used to come home and I used to take those hot dog buns and I would melt cheese and pour it into the hot dog bun with mayonnaise and seasoning salt.
Oh.
I know.
Sounds weird, but probably amazing. Yeah.
Delicious. My mom used to make these
fancy meals are the best meals.
Right? My mom used to make this fancy. My parents used to make, my dad used to make corned beef. I figured out how to make it. It's like the cheapest thing you can make, but it's so good. Like he cooked it with like tomato paste and like all these seasonings, like oregano and all kinds of super good, delicious. Now my mom used to make these hot dogs. And when I was a kid, I was like, oh my God, they're like fancy hot dogs. You grow up and you're like, oh my God, Mom, you just got creative with shit. It's mustard, apple jelly, onions. And then that's the sauce is apple jelly and mustard. And then you cook it with onions. So you eat, and with onions and butter, and then you put hot dogs in, and then you pour it over rice. It's delicious. It's delicious. But I was like, oh my God, this is such a fancy. I was like, Mom. Parents, those were simpler times. Now you got kids walking around with fucking Starbucks cups.
Seriously, oh my God. I mean,
Meanwhile,
I'm guilty. I have the obsession, but I'm also an adult, and I can terribly spend my money as I want to. But like, if like a child, like, why do you need a $40 Starbucks cup? You're 10. Like,
yeah, those are
why
my
do you
kids.
know
I
or
did
care
that.
what that is?
I
Why?
did that. You know, like I'm at home eating a bologna sandwich and making KD and fucking wieners and happy as a clam, but my kids are walking around with Starbucks cups. I'm like, Mama's ghetto.
Yeah. So you have a Starbucks cup.
Stupid.
At least it's good ghetto, like good ghetto food. At least it's good.
I agree. I think that, and everybody's going to have that staple, right? They made this so
Minute
at
rice
No
and
Frills.
mushroom soup too.
What's
Minute
that?
rice, minute rice and mushroom soup.
Ooh.
Very good.
Yeah, tomato soup and grilled cheese.
Yes. Yeah.
Tomato soup and cheese. Put cheese inside the tomato soup. So good. Or put cheesy goldfish crackers in there.
Yes. I can't have goldfish in my house. I just eat the whole bag in like a sitting.
You got to get the explosive cheese ones to put into your tomato soup.
Oh.
So good.
Yeah.
I know.
Now I'm hungry.
Like we're just finding ways but No Frills has what is it again? They have I can't remember. Okay, squirrel.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah.
I feel that.
They had something. I was going to tell you what it was. Oh, they have do you like French onion soup?
No.
Okay, never mind then.
I'm not
Right
sure.
down. Womp womp.
You tell me anyways.
No, they have these French onion soup rolls, like fried rolls, where like you so you put them in the air fryer. Oh, and that's probably like your best friend. The air fryer is probably your best friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love the air fryer. I taught my kids how to use the air fryer. My son, he needs it more. My daughter knows how to cook. My son, when he leaves, I'm gonna have to buy him 2 air fryers and a whole bunch of air fryer food. That's what's gonna have to happen, or he's gonna die. I've convinced myself that's what's happening. So, but they have these little rolls, and they're called French onion soup rolls, and they've got like a crispy like phyllo pastry around them, and onion, like almost like a French onion soup flavoring with onions, all like obviously inside of it, but so good with hell of a good dip onion. Oh my God. To die for. Or even just sour cream. I can't do a lot of dairy. So if I'm good, I love sour cream. I always have since I was like a kid. So when I want to die, I just buy a tub of sour cream and I eat everything I possibly can, like a binging asshole that can take sour cream. And I'm just like, yeah, we're going to die today. So we might as well make it worth it.
100%. Yeah. I started switching sour cream for Greek yogurt. I use Greek yogurt instead of sour cream.
Greek yogurt's delicious.
Like dairy thing, but it's just, I don't feel guilty when I have Greek yogurt instead of sour cream.
There's nothing wrong with it, and it's just as good. Greek yogurt. Do you know what I really want to start making right now is I really want to start making more things with cottage cheese. I love cottage cheese.
See, I hate it, but I'm obsessed with making cottage cheese ice cream with my Ninja.
I've heard of this, so it is good.
Life changing. I'll send it to you. It's one without the Ninja, and it's an ice cream with cottage cheese and the protein powder and maple syrup is really all it is. And you just blend it up, put it in the freezer for minimum 30 minutes, but like you can make a liter. Like it's just ice cream.
My mouth's just open because my mind's blown.
It's so good, but like for the Ninja Creamy, I had it for like 2 years and never used it because I was like, this is stupid. And then I tried to make a smoothie bowl, and I followed one of its recipes, and it told me to put peppermint in. Well, I got like real peppermint extract, and I put as much as it said, and I literally thought like I was like blowing peppermint out of my mouth. Like all my nose was clear, my ears were clear, my throat was clear after I took a bite. I'm like, well, I messed that up, and I made 6 of these, so that's great. I'm never doing this again. And then I finally tried with cottage cheese and just, protein powder. And I put monk fruit and some other random things. And holy smokes, it's amazing.
I'm excited.
40 grams of protein, like under 300 calories. You just had a blizzard. Like, fantastic.
You know what? My son loves ice cream, and he's in football, and he's high protein right now.
Do you have a Ninja Creamy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, did you say a
Absolutely.
Ninja Creamy? No, I don't have. I have a Ninja, but I don't have an. I'll
No,
have to
the
get one.
creamy. Yeah. Well, I mean, you could do. I'll send it to you. Actually, no. I think it's just cottage cheese, maple syrup, and protein powder, and then you just mix it all up and freeze it, and then you've got ice cream. But yeah, the Ninja Creamy is like, yeah, I'm all for
I'm
my
excited.
cottage cheese
I
protein.
want to
ice
get the
cream.
slushy one.
Those are so expensive. Like they were on sale at Canadian Tire for like $350.
Worth it.
But they look amazing.
Worth it. And I'll tell you why it's worth it. Like, I want to go buy one because of my kids. My kids love slushies. And so do I. And I like adult slushies. But when I say that, I mean, like, I like the flavors, not necessarily the alcohol.
Yeah.
Not that I'm scared to have a drink or anything like that. Of course I'll have a drink. But honestly, like, I have to go back to not drinking as much anymore, as in the sense of, because I went through breast cancer, right? So I stopped drinking completely. So I always find that I actually feel better when I don't drink at all. Like zero. Like I only have maybe a drink a week, maybe depending on what time of year it is, who's around, I might have a couple of drinks. Yeah. But I don't usually get too crazy. I just I've never been a big drinker, but if I get carried away with like my neighbors and having fun, and I'll be like, oh sure, let's get crazy.
That's like, I don't drink often.
Yeah.
But when I drink, I drink. So actually, was it November? Because that's the season of Christmas parties and all the things. And I'm like, have I ever been sober at an event? Like, I don't know. So I'm like, I'm just going to try and be sober and see if I can actually have fun. And if I'll even talk to people at the same time, because I'm not an overly social person, hence the liquor, and I'll go talk to people. But yeah, I haven't drank since November because I'm like, wow, I don't feel like crap on the weekends, and I actually can still have fun doing it. So yeah, I just haven't drank since November, and it's great.
It is. Like,
and
you know,
Ubers
like
aren't expensive. You know, living in Airdrie, trying to get an Uber from anywhere downtown, it costs you like hundreds of dollars. It's insane.
So let me tell you something. You're going to die. So usually downtown Calgary to Airdrie is about 45.
Yes.
Okay. It's usually about $45. But don't do it during Stampede. It's like, it is literally $200 to get home.
I got, was it Tyler Childers? He was on a Tuesday. It cost me $280 to get home on a Tuesday night after a concert. When we go to Country Thunder, it's easily $200 plus to get us home each night.
Capitalize.
Easily. $30-$40 to get there, $200 plus to get back. So when we go to concerts, we started walking. One of them said the library. And then some nights we've walked further than that, because the further you go, the cheaper it gets if you're not actually at
it's true.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's true. And that's what we did. So during Stampede, I would walk, oh my God. I walked at least 10 blocks. No lie. I walked 10 blocks out of the way, down 17th, and then over, like down by 14th. Like I just walked. And until I got to a point where I was like, okay, I think I'm good. And then I'd call an Uber in and be like, need to go to Airdrie. And it was like $50.
Yeah. You just have
$60. Something like that.
Ridiculous.
And it was like, I was like, oh yeah, sure. Let's do it. And then, yeah. And then they're like, oh, where are you coming from? I was like, oh, I just come from a friend's place. Said nothing.
Yeah. I didn't walk.
Coming from a friend's place. They're like, oh, you don't do Stampede? I'm like, no, I'm a local. I actually don't do Stampede very often. I mean, unless I get invited to the events, I'm like, no, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
CCA Stampede, like their afternoon.
Yeah.
That's fun. That's probably one of the only events I go to. Yeah, I went and saw Alabama. That was one of the reasons I went to the Stampede, but I didn't really go to the Stampede. I just went to go see Alabama and then left. So yeah, I'm not a big Stampede goer. We went one year and it was just so busy and it was hot and expensive. And I don't like going on rides anyways.
I love the rides.
And then when you go to the beer garden, it's inside a building. So it's not like you're wandering around enjoying everything with a beer. So it's just, yeah, I was like, I don't know why we're doing this.
I don't like the majority of the food at the Stampede. I think it's absolutely disgusting on the fairway.
Ketchup ice cream? I was like, what? Why?
Fried butter?
It's weird. All of it's weird.
Agreed. So, not a fan of a lot of the fairway food. I do like the rides. There's one ride the Stampede offers that I can't find anywhere else other than the Stampede grounds, and it's been there for years, and it continues to be there, which is the Kamikaze. So it's the one that goes like this.
Oh yeah, you wouldn't catch me dead on that. No.
Oh yeah, love it.
No.
I'm like, woohoo!
I
Throw
like
me from it. Throw me from it.
So there's the Gravitron. Is that the one where you stand and then you get like sucked up the wall?
Yes, that's Gravitron.
There's that one. And then back in the day when we go to the Armstrong Fair, there was one, I haven't seen it in years, but like it's an open cage, but it's like the Gravitron except it's open. And so you go like this, and then eventually it just spins this way.
I've seen that one.
But I don't know what it's called, and I've never seen it again. Because there's some tiny little chain holds you. It's not even holding you in. It's just there for looks, really.
I think there's one similar to it at Callaway Park.
I'll have to go check it out, because those are probably the only rides you'd ever find me on.
She's like, I'm gonna go check it out just to see and be
now
like,
I need
that's
to
the
go
one.
just for that one ride. Some nostalgia.
Right? Or like the only ride that I'll never go on and I hate it was the Zipper. Do you remember the Zipper?
Yeah, no thanks. No.
Yeah. No bueno. And your own little like two thing, and then you're all enclosed
somewhere. What? Like it was like going and one just like disconnected and went flying. Yeah, that's enough for me to never.
No, thank you.
No, I'm good. I'll keep my feet on the ground. Thank you so much.
Meh. But yeah, Stampede, I think the only time I'd ever go to Stampede is if it's going to be for the Chucks. Any other rodeo, love rodeo. I will attend just about any and all rodeos, whether it's gay rodeo, Stampede rodeo, Timbuktu rodeo. I will go. Love rodeos. I love horses. I love all the livestock that come and the talent with those animals and their riders. Amazing. Yeah. All the different events that happen. And then I will also, I like the concerts. I do like the concerts. Concerts are fun.
Agree.
Yeah. Agree. I'm all about that. But other than that, no thanks. I'm good. I'm like,
breakfasts and the lunches are good at all the random events, not like at the Stampede grounds.
Well, you won't see me at too many more CCA things. I didn't renew my membership this year.
No? Oh.
Yeah.
Well, if I have extra tickets, you can just come.
Okay, yay.
With us. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm down. I'll go. They'll be like, oh, you went somewhere else?
Yep, I did.
I don't know. I mean, like a lot of the administrative they're really great. Like I get along with a lot of them, so they might just like maybe. Right?
Well,
hey guys, I have some free stuff for you. They'll be like, are you bribing us? No, I just want you to know how appreciated you are. They're like, if we say no, can we still have it? Yes, of course you can.
Of course.
Otherwise, that would be bribery, and I don't do that.
Yeah, we don't do that. No. We don't.
But no, I mean, I didn't renew my membership this year because for what I do is so niche based, and I'm in the space I need to be in, which is condo.
Right.
So I wasn't getting what I needed out of it. Now, the one thing that I could do more so is because now that I have Devil's Advocate, which is our podcast here, I could bring more people into the podcast, which I do. I do go to a lot of events and I meet a lot of really great trades. So I was just at East in Edmonton and I met a lot of really great trades, and I want them to come on too. I want a lot of people from different voices, I've had people from the States. I've had people all over the place. And thank you for listening to the podcast. You're so cute. I don't listen to podcasts, but I did listen to yours. Which episode did you listen to?
There was one, the one with Adam from VIPAC.
Yeah.
I listened to that.
Okay.
There's been a few. And I just, and more like LinkedIn is what prompts me. I see it on LinkedIn and then I'll go. But I'm not as active on LinkedIn. Like I pre-do all my posts for the month.
Mm-hmm.
So I seem like I'm on it and active, but I've like pre-done that. But I don't actually go on enough to like see what's all going on. But when I do, your videos pop up and then there we go. Yeah.
Yeah. Adam's fun guy. Super nice guy.
He's a very fun guy.
Yeah.
And we went to the CCA. Okay, it was last year. They did Launchpad at Nicholson.
Yeah.
So he came with us. It was a very good time.
Yeah. He's a good guy. He's a good guy. He's smart. He's driven, and he's super passionate. And I think that's one of the things I like about trades. And I'm not saying that no industry has people like this, but the trades industry, especially when you've got owners or managers or your business development people, they seem to have just a different level of passion to them.
Yeah.
It's just like, like it's excitable, like it's contagious, like it just rubs off. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to wrap you up because we've already been on for like an hour and a half. You know what though? Everyone's going to have fun. It's so funny. Like I have podcasts that are anywhere from like 12 minutes to like 20 minutes to like an hour to an hour and a half.
I love it. Well, it keeps things interesting for the viewers and you as well, right?
It's fun. For me, it's fun. I love doing it and I love hanging out with everybody and just getting to know them more as a person.
What a cool way to do it. I just love it. Yeah, that's awesome. Thank
you. And I think it's fun. It's just like, that's what it's about, right? We can talk about shit and not always agree on it. But at the same time, we're just like, man, it's what makes you tick. It's okay.
100%.
I mean, it's like, I always bug people about some of the shit that I'm like, don't get passionate about it. Otherwise I'm going to know how to piss you off. And then they're like, you're an asshole. I'm like, yes, I am. Woo.
We knew that. And we love you anyways.
I know. So. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, Sunshine. Well, thanks for being on the show with me.
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Hang tight for 1 second. So everybody, thank you for being part of the show and hanging out with us. And if you guys ever want to be a part of the show, please don't hesitate to email me, lisa@lpmenterprises.net. And as always, don't do anything crazy. Bye.